This has Jays fans absolutely fired up as the Toronto Blue Jays send a serious message on the back of one particular player. We're going to break down exactly what happened and discuss what has fans fired up, as this is absolutely electric. A ton to go over today, folks. Before we get into it, if you're part of the 71% who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Jays content. Your guys' support has been unbelievable throughout the entire season thus far, so thank you guys for that. You guys have been fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, this is crazy. The Toronto Blue Jays come out and in the back of Alejandro Kirk manage to secure a huge win. And we're at the point of the season now where each win matters, but the way that it's happening matters more. And we're seeing special things in the back of a bunch of different players, including, of course, Alejandro Kirk. And there is a ton to dive into tonight in this game. Of course, a crazy walk-off win. Obviously, that's a big part of it. But in a game where the Jays struggled mightily to get hits, the offense since that the Athletic series, it's been struggling a little bit. And for most of this game, it was struggling badly. And you can see here, Bichette, there's not much to talk about as it pertains to the offense. Bichette went 1 for 4, Guerrero 1 for 4, and then, of course, Jimenez down there had a couple of key hits. But man, oh man, is there something to talk about surrounding Alejandro Kirk. And we're going to dive into some of the advanced analytics and stuff like that, but let's just go over the game. Now, obviously, it was a pitcher's duel. We're going to dive into Berríos in a minute here, but on the offensive side of things, not much was going on. A couple of, they were basically no hit. They were 2 hit through 6 innings. Jimenez getting both of those hits with singles. And then, of course, luckily, Bichette was able to cash in a run to tie the game up. But the offense was a little bit of a concern, and it's crazy how fast things can change. An hour ago, the offense was really bad. They were down 1-0. They lost yesterday after winning 5 in a row, but against, of course, the Athletics. So you're starting to wonder, okay, against a good team, is this team, good enough? They are, and they managed to get the dub on the back of Alejandro Kirk, a walk-off, rocket double, which we'll dive into. But I want to touch on the pitching a little bit here, because realistically, we'll dive into the walk-off in a minute here. Let's talk about the pitching. And José Berríos has moved his ERA down to around what his career average is, a 3.67, and the bullpen was absolutely dominant tonight. And of course, you're going against a Phillies team who has very good pitching, very good offense. They were losers of 4 straight coming into this series, but that was without Bryce Harper. Bryce Harper is back, and we saw José Berríos, despite giving up a run early in the second inning, the top of the second, gave up a 1-run home run, a solo shot to Nick Castellanos. Other than that, he locked in and was dominant. 6 innings, 4 hits, 1 run, 5 Ks. And, for the past few starts, he's been really, really good. His ERA was above 4 for a while. He's managed to bring that all the way down to a 3.67. And he's going to be crucial. And we talk about the starting rotation, the starting pitchers, all these different things. It is needed that this team has good starting pitching. There's just no other way about it. The offense, it's going to have its downs, and there's going to be games where the offense is struggling, and José Berríos was the reason that the Toronto Blue Jays won this game. Of course, Alejandro Kirk got the game-winning hit. All those things are true. If Berríos folded, he had the bases loaded with 1 out in the, I believe it was the 5th inning, or maybe in the 6th inning, whenever it was, and he did not give up a run. He kept it a 1-run game, and that was absolutely crucial, because in a game where you're going up against an okay bullpen, again the Phillies, a decent bullpen, but the offense has shown enough fight over the past few weeks. You can still have faith in the team. And of course, they came back from that 1-run deficit. They tied it up at 1. Probably should have got another run there. Man on third, 1 out for Vladdy. He misses, of course, misses the pitch and pops it up, not deep enough. But despite that, the team is. I'm very excited. Very excited, of course. And of course, Chad Green came in. Flawless inning. Brendan Little gets the player of the game from the pitcher side. Bullpen player of the game, I guess, because you can argue Berríos got the player of the game. 1 2/3 innings, went up against Bryce Harper, one up against Kyle Schwarber. We need to get Brendan Little in the All-Star game, by the way. He's been one of the most dominant relievers in baseball. 1.29 ERA now in 29 or 30 appearances, I believe it is. He's had a lot of appearances, and he is one of the best relievers in baseball, some of the best whiff stuff, the best whiff stuff in baseball, and he shut down a very potent Phillies lineup. I have to give all the credit in the world to the Jays bullpen, because they kept the Jays in the game. Berríos kept the Jays in the game, and it opened up at the bottom of the 9th inning where you're going up against Jordan Romano. And of course, we saw Jeff Hoffman get the final out of the top of the 9th after giving up a single, got a ground out to Ernie Clement, and then you're going up against Jordan Romano, and the first out happened, and then you have, of course, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up. He gets a single up the middle, and then Vladdy gets his first stolen base of the season, because we know, we were watching Jordan Romano for years, he's very slow to the plate. He gives up a ton of stolen bases, right? So Vladdy steals his first base of the year, Berger strikes out on a slider, and then Alejandro Kirk hits a missile to right field. I think it's going to go in as a double. It was so close to a home run, almost a home run. And I thought it was going to be a home run. And the Jays win the game against the Phillies, now splitting the series thus far. Of course, they play again tomorrow. These are the wins that not only, fire up fans, obviously, because, a big win, but you're playing against a very, very good Philadelphia Phillies team, and the offense was struggling. I mean, you're going up against very good pitching. You luckily avoid Zach Wheeler, but these are the wins that great teams get, where your offense is struggling, your pitchers keep you in it, and then you battle, you fight, you claw back to tie the game, and you claw back even more to win the game in the bottom of the ninth. You don't push it to extra innings. Jeff Hoffman only had to pitch 7 pitches, so he'd be good to go tomorrow. It was just a perfect game of baseball, given the fact that the offense was really, really bad. And that's the big difference here. And the Jays are now back to 3 games above 500. The team is showing fight. They're showing life. The offense does need to lock in a little bit because, of course, you can't keep winning games. And this is, it's been 3 games in a row now. I guess, 2 games in a row. Yesterday against the Phillies, they were pretty bad offensively. Against really good pitching, they do tend to struggle a little bit. But a win is a win, and their defense was great. Jimenez, since coming, a lot of people forget, Andres Jimenez, prior to getting put in the IL in his last 20 games or so, was hitting like 300 or something like that. Maybe not 20 games. He was hitting really, really well. And he started that too. And he was the only guy who really had hits on their starting pitcher. Mabel, I believe his last name was. And with that, I think that was his second career start as well, which is even crazier. And against Mabel, you put up 2 hits. You're just in a great spot. And the Jays are in a very good spot. José Berríos, over his last 2 starts, giving up 1 run in 12 innings pitched. The team is on a roll right now, and you lose yesterday's game with Bowden Francis, and that's a big question mark going forward. How good can Bowden Francis be, right? He probably is going to be a bit of a concern going forward. But for now, you lose that game, you're thinking, okay, maybe out of this, if you're going to lose a game this series, it's going to be the one that doesn't have Berríos or Bassett. You come back out, and you claw back and get the win from, of course, against a very good pitcher in Mick Abel. So, at least he seems like a second career start, whatever it is. Mick Abel's a very good pitcher. And ladies and gentlemen, the Jays get it done and take care of business. Also, again, shout out to Mick Abel. It was his second career start, and he was able to have a very good game. So, he pitched fantastic. Mick Abel carved the A-grade name, by the way, carved the Jays up. But ladies and gentlemen, Alejandro Kirk gets the walk-off hit. Hoffman 1, Romano 0. Romano looked dejected out there. He's the Phillies closer now after Jose Alvarado got suspended for PEDs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jays, they're fighting, they're winning. The Red Sox are losing games, the Yankees are losing games, and the Jays hopefully can continue this tomorrow. They have a bit of an easier schedule, coming down the stretch here a little bit. It's still pretty rough. They're all above 500, but again, the Jays are rocking. Continue this, and as the trade deadline approaches, as I've been reporting, or as I've been covering reports on the channel, the Jays are going all in at this deadline. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know down below what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching. And man, oh man, what a game for the Toronto Blue Jays. Cheers.